Hi folks, this is Vince with Ad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to take a quick look at the board game Fuse. This game is appropriate for 1 to 5 players, ages 13 and up, and the average playtime is about 10 minutes. Now the reason why it's so short is because you're on a timer. Players are going to be working together in this game, it's a cooperative game, in order to disarm some bombs. As far as the components are concerned, you've got a deck of bomb cards here. If we take a look at one, the bottom half of the card will tell you how to disarm it. Like, for example, you'll need to put 2 dice that subtract in such a way to where the difference is equal to 2 in order to disarm this bomb. And you can see a point value in the upper right-hand corner. The higher the point value, the more difficult the bomb is to disarm. Now, you've got these 6-point cards here, and the manual recommends that you get rid of these in the beginning of the game if it's your first time playing, just because these tend to be very difficult to complete. So you'll have a stack of bomb cards here. They have 1 to 4 points on them. And again, the more points they are, the more difficult it is to disarm. You've also got some fuse cards, and eventually some of these will be shuffled into the bomb deck. And they list either a number or a color. Like there's the 2, there's a yellow. And basically whenever these come up, players have to discard a die that's on one of their bomb cards that matches the number or the color shown. You've also got a bag over here, which is where all the dice go. And then you've got a manual. The manual isn't too long, though parts of it you do have to pay attention to. Like, for example, let's see if I can hold this up in such a way to where the light won't reflect. Okay, there we go. So you'll notice that a number of bomb cards will be used depending on both the number of players and the difficulty you choose. So you can solo this game, and if you decide to do the training difficulty, it's 16 bomb cards. If you have 5 people playing and you decide to play it on Insane, it's 29 bomb cards. So you can basically customize this any way you want to. And you've got a little score pad on the back in case you want to keep track of whether or not you've won or lost the games that you've been playing. Alright, so I want to quickly interject here. There's something I forgot to mention. I didn't go over all of the rules found in the manual in this video. I generally don't anyway. Most of my reviews just give you a basic overview so that you can see how the game was played and to give you an idea as to whether or not you actually want to pick it up for yourself. So for those of you that like to nitpick and go through videos and leave comments, like for those of you that have played the game and are experts at it, but love leaving comments like, oh, you forgot this, or oh, you hack, you forgot that, I'm well aware that I didn't cover everything. Again, this was just a general overview, not a complete tutorial. So with that disclaimer out of the way, let's go ahead and get back to the video. Okay, so as far as game setup is concerned, you're going to take all of the 1 through 4 point cards, put them into a deck, shuffle it up, and then give each player 2 cards, just like I've done here. Player 1 over here, player 2 over here. After that, you're going to go ahead and look at this chart and see how many bomb cards you're going to need based on the number of players and your difficulty. I'm going to do a 2-player game on training, so I need 17 cards. So I'm going to deal 17 cards from this deck, and I've done so already here. And then you're going to put the rest of these back in the box. You're also going to draw 5 cards from this deck face up like this. This is going to form the pool. As players complete these bomb cards down here, they're going to put them into a score pile and then pick from the stack up here. After that, you're also going to shuffle in 6 random fuse cards. I've already done that as well. So you're going to have a deck of cards here, and the objective is, you're going to have a timer as well, by the way, and there's a free app that you can download for it. I didn't bother doing that. I have a clock on my phone. I can just simply use that timer. But I'm not going to do that for the purpose of this explanation here. But anyway, you're going to set the timer to 10 minutes because that's how long you have to defuse all these bombs. And basically, you're trying to get through this entire deck and get rid of all of these cards in order to win the game. Now, it's important to note that you do not have to complete the ones in front of you at the very end in order to win. You only have to get rid of this deck and these 5 cards here. As you take one, you draw. As you take more from here, you keep drawing until this runs out, and then you're trying to get rid of the remaining 5 cards. And if you can do that before 10 minutes is over, then you win the game. Of course, you're going to take all of the dice, put them into a bag, give them to one player, and then you're ready to begin. Now, it's important to note real quick that the rules are going to change slightly depending on the number of players. For example, whenever you're playing this game and you draw dice from the bag in a 2-player game, you're going to draw 2 dice for each player. In a solitaire game, you're going to draw 3 dice for yourself. Otherwise, each player, or the player with the bag, will draw 1 die for each player in the game. So if there's 4 players playing, then this player with the bag will draw 4 from the bag. But because we're playing a 2-player game, we're going to draw 4 from the bag. 2 for this player and 2 for this player. Okay, so how does a typical turn play out? With the player with the bag, we'll go ahead and draw the number of dice required. And again, that'll change based on how many people are playing. And you have to sort of grab all of the dice that you need, exactly the number of dice you need, all at the same time. Otherwise, you have to put them back in the bag and try again. So you can't like pick 2 and then 2 more and so on. Once you have the required number of dice, you're going to go ahead and roll them. Alright, so we've got a 6, we've got a 5, 4, and 5. Now players are going to openly discuss how they're going to go about using these dice on their cards. Any unused dice will actually have to be re-rolled, and then players may end up having to give back dice that are on their cards back into the bag. But I'll get to that in a minute. So we've got a 6, a 5, a 5, and a 4. This card here requires that the player put a blue or green die on this space, a yellow or red die on this space, or a red or blue die on this space. A 6, a 5, or a 1. Now this white means any color, so I can use any color I want to. This card over here, a 1 of any color, any die, so as long as it's red, green, or yellow here. And then these 2, 1 yellow die or 1 green die, and then 1 red or 1 blue die. They have to add up to 7. So let's see what we're going to do here. The 6 and the 5 can do this, I think. And then this player over here may want to do something like this. Maybe they'll put the 4 here and hope that a red 3 or a blue 3 is rolled at some point in the future so that they add up to 7. And then maybe they'll put the green 5 on this space over here. Now let's just say, for whatever reason, you couldn't use a die. Let's say that there was no 6 here or no black space. Actually, there is no black space on any of these cards, but let's say that this 6 was not here and a black 6 was rolled. Any unused die that the players cannot use, they'll go ahead and roll that die again. And then whatever number comes up, each player has to take 1 die from their bomb cards back in and put them back into the bag that matches either the number or the color shown. In this case, I rolled a 4, so this player would have to give up the yellow 4 and put it back into the bag. This player here does not have a black die, nor do they have a die that has the number 4 on it, so this player is considered safe. But we rolled a 6, and we're good there. And that basically ends that turn. The bag simply goes over here, and then this player over here would draw 4 more dice. And then we're going to keep doing that until one of these cards are completed. Let's see if we can complete one real quick. All right, I drew those. All right, so we've got a 1, 5, 3, and a 6. Okay, so again, the players have to decide what they're going to do. Okay, this actually might be good. Let's go ahead and put the 1 here. 5, put that there. We could put, actually, here's the blue 3. That adds, okay, that's good. And then we'll put the red die. Okay, so this player here has completed a card. These go back into the bag, and this goes into a score pile. And this one over here was completed. 4 plus 3 equals 7, so that's fine. These go back into the bag. This goes into a score pile. Each player will then take 1 from the pool here. So here's a 4-point card, 2 of any color. We need 3 dice. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and then this player may choose to take this one. Now this is a stack card. This little arrow down here means it's a stack. Basically, you start with a green of any number, because there is no number specified. You put the green here, then you stack a black on top of that, then a red, then a blue. Okay, and if the stack happens to fall while you're playing, you have to put the dice back into the bag and start over from scratch. But as you take cards from this pool, you're going to go ahead and draw more. And again, you're trying to deplete this deck here and then get rid of all 5 cards. And if players manage to do that before the time limit expires, they'll collectively win the game. And if you really want to keep score, you can add up the number of points on the cards that you've scored. And again, there's a little score tracker on the back of the manual here in case you want to write stuff down. But just, you know, getting to the point of just diffusing all the bombs, I think, would be victory enough. And again, you've got these extra cards here, these 6-point cards that you can decide to include or not to include. There's also different ways to set up this game. Instead of putting everything into one deck like this and then dealing out 5, you can actually sort them out. This is listed in the manual, by the way. You can create 4 decks. One with one deck that has all 1 points, cards, one deck that has all 2-point cards, 3-point cards, 4-point cards, and then players, and then you'll be shuffling in fuse cards in there. And then, or actually, I think the fuse cards get their own deck. And then you're going to be taking from those stacks. So you can sort of choose the difficulty of the cards that you're taking. You can also customize this deck. Like, let's say you don't want to play with 4-point cards or 3-point cards. Let's say you want to take it nice and easy and you just want to do 1 or 2-point cards. You can, as you're creating this standard deck here based on the chart in the manual, you can like discard all of the 3s and all the 4s and all the 6s, get them out of there, and then just shuffle up the 1s and the 2s, deal as many as you need to based on the number of players and the difficulty, and then play with that. And you can even reduce the number of fuse cards if you want to. So there are multiple ways to customize this game to suit to your playstyle. And even so, even further than that, let's say you're not someone that likes to be rushed. Okay, you can go ahead and put the timer on 15 minutes. The rulebook, doesn't mention that, but as a gamer and as a casual gamer, I'd say go for it. If you're not someone that likes to be rushed and you need the extra time to think or to talk things over, go ahead and either stop the timer or just put it on 15 or 20 minutes. Sure, it might make the game a little easier, but the ultimate goal is to have fun, and if you're not having fun because you're feeling rushed, then do something about it. Don't let the game frustrate you. But anyway, Fuse, what do I think? I think it's a great cooperative game. Definitely one I'm going to be showing off in the future. Vinny and I more than likely will be playing this at some point. So with that being said, if you haven't already, check out my written review on my official website, www.dadsgamingaddiction.com. And of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel. That way you can keep up to date with any new content I happen to publish. This is Vince. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.